There we go, folks. We have created our own iNeuron Labs feature. Uh, okay, what was the password? Okay, I forgot what I've just wrote. So hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and in this video we're going to talk about how you can create your own iNeuron Labs feature using your own system. So basically this Visual Studio Code. So basically let's get a tour of iNeuron Labs. Okay, so this is iNeuron Labs. It's a really great feature if you have like a snail computer. That's the tagline of them. So if you have very slow computer, you can just click on lab templates. You can go here and change and search for whatever thing you want. Let's say Golang, Flask, and all that stuff. So let's say if I am going for Go. Okay, so proceed, and within, let's say, 4 to 5 seconds, it creates a lab for you in which you can write your code. So here is my Golang lab. So hello.go, and trust the folder and continue and cut, and there we go. So this is not like, this is a Visual Studio Code, but what iNeuron does is they have Docker images, and in the Docker images they have all of these configurations. So basically, and in that, the moment they create a Docker image or a Docker container, they are launching the code server. Like code server is an open source project which allows you to use Visual Studio Code in your browsers. So basically you can set up this by your own machine. You can set up this on your own Windows. You can set up this in your Linux machine. So I'm gonna show you how you can set up this in your cloud machine, because I think in iNeuron Labs they have a limited number of storage and RAM. So if I do top, there you can see we have around total and free memory. Like you can see here we have 21, like something like that amount of kilobytes or megabytes. I don't know what this is, but yeah, they have a limit. Like you have a limited amount of resources in this code. If you are doing, let's say, Angular, so I think for Angular and all that stuff, for 2 to 3 GB or 4 GB RAM is enough, because we are not running a fully blown operating system. We are just using code spaces, and for code spaces I think it's actually using around, okay, memory swap free. It actually it doesn't actually use a lot of memory for code server. So I'm gonna teach you how to set up this code server in your own machine. So let's go. So open up your Azure. Okay, why I'm using Azure? Because I have Azure server. So I have bought an Azure server. You can see this is my machine. So basically you can do this in your AWS machine. You can use this in your GCP machine. You have a DigitalOcean Droplet, you can do that as well. So basically in like if you're setting up this in your machine, you have full control over it. So let's say if I want to increase the disk size, I can do that. So basically you can also make your iNeuron Labs version 2. So you just have to learn Docker and how to set up all these things. I have no idea how they are doing it, but I have a like an top idea of how they are managing all this stuff, such as they are creating Docker containers. Because if you go to cd/, you can see this is a Docker container. We have Docker image, we have Docker containers and all that stuff. Okay, if you go to app, we have code server in that. So basically they are just launching a code server, and that's a good thing, because GitHub code spaces in which you can basically code, that's actually a paid version, or they have a limited access for certain people. But yeah, you can use iNeuron, and that's a good thing, because college students can now learn anything without have to worrying about the environment setup. Okay, so let's go. So we have this virtual machine here, and the first thing you need to do is go to code server and copy these commands. So before running this, you need to open up your terminal. Okay, there we go. We have our PowerShell open. Now what you have to do is go to your Linux machine. So this, and let me type in my password. So this is my password. I'm not gonna tell you, you're gonna hack me. Okay, So we have this. So let's create a directory for code server. So this is my, let's say, lab, my lab. Okay, so this would be my personal lab, and no one is gonna hack into this. Okay, so this is my lab, and now what you have to do is copy this command and paste in here. Okay, so now you can see we are installing. Now this is what iNeuron is doing. They're basically creating a Docker container. In that Docker container, they are basically setting up the environment. So let's say you have Angular environment, they are going to use all that Angular thing, and then voila, you have a code spaces set up. Now if you don't want the background server, you can run. Okay, so you have two commands to run this. Okay, let me just give it a little bigger. So you have two commands. If you want to run this code server forever, you can just use system enable code server either whatever username. So my name is Ashish, so you can, but I think this is an environment path variable. So okay, this is not an environment path variable, but yeah, you can use this, or you can use code server, or you can use another thing which is nohub. So nohub is like a coroutine, like you can just basically run commands which is gonna be running forever in the background. Okay, so you can use nohub for that. So let me just do code server, not code server, which is code server, enter, and you can see wrote code server app listening to port 8080. So before going to port 8080, you have to go into your networking tab. In that networking tab, you have to go to your inbound port rules. In that inbound port rules, you have to just specify if there is anything that you are using. So in this case, I'm using port 8080, so I'm going to add an inbound port rule. In that, I have a destination that's automatically generated for me. So 8080, you have to do this, allow just okay. So basically what we are doing is adding an inbound port rule, and then hit add. So the moment you add this, it gonna create a new rule. So now you can basically access this port. So let's go ahead and let me restore and refresh this. So now you can see we have this port. Now this is my IP address, so this would be my IP address for accessing the code server, and this would be my port 8080. Okay, so just a second, let's see if it's working or not. Okay, so before, now it's running actually on 127.0.0. A new, like this is running on like it's running on localhost, so we need to change the address from 0.0.0.0 port 8000, so that port 8080, so we can use this. Okay, so to do that, we just need to do code server -- bind address, and the address is 0.0.0.0 port 8080. Hit enter, and there we go, we have listening on port this. So now if we go here and refresh, now you can see welcome to code server, and please log in. So for code server, we actually need to log in, and the config file is here. So we just gonna copy this and open a new instance of our terminal nano. Now you can see the password is this. So to change the password, we just need to do change the password, you just need to do here. And if you don't want to log in with password, just replace this auth password to none. So we are going to use password. So my password is going to be let's say code server password, and hit OK and enter, and go back and just rerun the server. If we reload this, okay, what was the password? Okay, I forgot what I've just wrote. Okay, so this is code server password, code server password. Hit submit, and waiting for a second. Okay, there we go, we have achieved the functionality of iNeuron Labs. Okay, so this is my own server, and you can see we have this own server. What you just need to do is create a Docker image. So basically what they are doing is, if I go here and type here touch main.py and all that stuff, and now open a code server to this thing and hit reload, and there we go, we have this lab opened. And if we go here to our nano config file, we can also specify the path in which it should open automatically. Now you can see we have python.py. We can get access to the terminal itself. So this is my terminal. We could just run okay, let me just change the theme because I don't print hello world, and in here python 3 main.py. There we go, folks. We have created our own iNeuron Labs feature using just code spaces. And if you want to make this a startup, you can just create all the stuff that they have created and be a competitor of that thing. But I think this is free, so there is no competition. They have made this solely for helping the people and helping people like in college or universities, so they can get rid of that environment setup frustration and just focus on their learning. So we have created the same thing using our server, and our server in that, like, we have full control over it. I have 3 GB, I have 4 GB RAM, I can extend it to 16 GB RAM, I can do all sorts of stuff here. So yeah, so this is it for today. I see you in the next video. Till then, see ya, have a good day.